This perfume is something else. It's very, very unique. And if you like to stand out from the crowd, this perfume is a must try. Very, very sensual. Oh God, it's so, so good. Performance is nuclear. Projection is impressive, way above average. It's a powerhouse when it comes to performance. This is number one. Number two, this is an attention grabber. Guys, this will make you turn heads left and right. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Giselle, I review perfumes. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. And if you're one of my loyal returning subscribers, thank you so much for being here with me once again. So today's video is all about fragrances that will make you stand out. They are all bangers. These are designed to command attention. So if you don't like to receive compliments, if you don't like to turn heads, if you don't want to be the center of attention, then this video is not for you. Now, if you do like to receive compliments, if you like to turn heads left and right, if you do like to command attention, then this video is for you. So without further ado, let's dive in. The first fragrance I have on my list today is Gingembre Pétillant by Atelier Versace. Atelier Versace is the private line or the more luxurious line or private blend, whatever you want to call it, from Versace. And it's really, really, really luxurious, very sophisticated. It's very similar to Instant Crush by Mancera. I know that many people compare this fragrance with Baccarat Rouge 540. Shocker, yes, again. No, it's not similar. It does have similar vibes, like as I was explaining in my previous video. It does have similar vibes, and to a point, I would say it has a similar DNA. So I would say Baccarat Rouge 540 and this one belong to the same league. This is also very luxurious, very sophisticated. I would wear this fragrance for the same type of occasions I would wear Baccarat Rouge 540. It does have similar vibes, and I would wear this fragrance for the same occasions, same type of events. I would wear Baccarat Rouge 540. I like Instant Crush. I do have that fragrance, but I think this one is several notches above. It's quite similar, honestly, but it's way more elevated and more luxurious. The fragrance opens very sparkly, very vibrant, and in fact, Gingembre Pétillant means sparkling or bubbly ginger. This is a ginger fragrance, but let me tell you, it's done in a way that even if you don't like ginger, you might still love this fragrance. The ginger here gives that kick of energy in the opening, that kind of spicy sweetness typical from ginger. But aside from that, I don't think this fragrance truly smells like ginger. And I say this because even if you don't like ginger, I highly encourage you to try this perfume. It's really, really beautiful. It's a powerhouse when it comes to performance. Performance is nuclear. It lasts anywhere between 8 and 12 hours on my skin. During the summer, it lasts longer, but during the winter, I get anywhere between 8 and 10 hours. Projection is impressive, way above average. It projects for 2 hours consistently after spraying without losing strength. So it is a very, very strong fragrance, very powerful. So as I said before, the opening is quite sparkly, quite bright, quite invigorating and uplifting. But after the top notes evaporate, the top notes are pretty bright, but after the top notes evaporate, the fragrance will transition into a creamy floral core where we have ylang-ylang, we have jasmine, and we have praline, which provides a lot of creaminess to fragrances. And also the jasmine here is a very clean jasmine. There's nothing indolic, nothing narcotic here. So it's not like the typical floral note like a flower bouquet, nothing like that. The floral notes here provide a lot of femininity, but it's nothing headache inducing or anything like that. Just saying, in case you don't like florals, you might still like this perfume. It's a very complex fragrance, very sophisticated, smells very expensive, very luxurious, and you will definitely stand out with this fragrance. Gingembre Pétillant by Atelier Versace. The next fragrance on my list might come as a surprise to you because this is actually a fragrance targeted toward men cologne, but it's absolutely out of this world. It's completely unisex, and it is Gentleman's Society Eau de Parfum Extrême by Givenchy. So this is a flanker of the original Society. Guys, I love Society too, but this is out of this world. It's one of the most beautiful fragrances I've tried out there, and I think it's one of the best releases of 2024. I tried this perfume last year in Europe when they first launched it, and it was sold out everywhere. And unfortunately, I tried the day before I was flying back home, so I didn't have time to buy the restock because they were planning on restocking immediately. The thing is that they sold way more and way faster than they thought they would. So I couldn't buy it there, but I thought, okay, no problem, I'll buy it once I get back home. But that wasn't the case, because when I wanted to buy it here, it wasn't available in the United States. Only the original Society was available here. So I had to wait quite a few months until this fragrance made it to the US. And I couldn't be happier. I got it a few months ago, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. And guys, I couldn't be happier. It's so stunning. It's fresh. Let me spray a little bit here. It's fresh, but it's also very strong in coffee. I would say this is a coffee leather fragrance, but it doesn't have leather listed in the notes, at least not in the official site. However, this perfume has iris, and iris sometimes can be leathery. There are many fragrances out there that people think they are leather fragrances, and they don't have leather in the composition. And this is one of those. You can smell leather, but it's not animalic or stinky. The leather here, it's very smooth, very creamy. And when you pick those type of accords, it's because highly likely it's coming from iris or from oris and not from a typical leather note. It's very beautiful, guys. I would define this perfume as a woody, floral, spicy, vanillic scent. It's very strong in coffee, but the coffee here is not sharp. There's no sharpness of any kind in this fragrance. It's actually a very smooth, very creamy type of scent, and I think this has a lot to do with the iris here. I would say it's slightly gourmand. You have the gourmand coffee note here. Now, keep in mind that this is a cologne. It's a men fragrance, aside from the fact that it's completely unisex and you can wear whatever you want. But aside from that, it's a fragrance targeted towards men. And for that reason, when we have gourmand notes in colognes or men fragrances, they will never be like gourmand notes we find in feminine fragrances, right? And highly likely they are not going to be edible, or if they are on an edible level, gourmand notes in colognes or men fragrances will never be like gourmand notes we see in feminine perfumes. In men fragrances are blended in a completely different way. It's very intense, deep, dark, fresh, creamy, spicy. It has peppermint. No wonder it is so fresh, but it doesn't have the typical 𝘿𝐿 scent that peppermint has. As I said, it does have a beautiful addictive gourmand component without being edible. It's totally addictive. I find it a little bit musky and also vanilla in the dry down. No, it doesn't have vanilla. At least vanilla is not listed on the official website. However, it has daffodil, which is a floral note that sometimes it smells a little bit like jasmine, sometimes a little bit herbal or green, but also like vanilla. It has a very soft vanilla scent, and this is what I pick in the dry down. A musky, slightly vanilla, creamy, woody type of scent. Absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. It lasts between 8 and 10 hours on my skin. That's very personal. For some people, 8 to 10 hours, it's an average performer. To me, it's a top performer. If I get 8 to 10 hours of lasting power without even overspraying, I'm good. I don't need anything else. This is a very sophisticated scent. As I said, I got this fragrance only 2-3 months ago. I've been wearing it since I bought it, and let me tell you, it is a head turner. So give it a try. Gentleman's Society Eau de Parfum Extrême by Givenchy. The next one on my list is Obscuratio by L'Artisan Parfumeur. This fragrance is stunning, let me tell you. All the fragrances here are stunning. So you will hear me repeating myself all the time. It's stunning, but they truly are. So good. This is a patchouli fragrance. So if you are a patchouli lover, this fragrance is a must try. But even if you don't like patchouli, this one is also a must try because it's a different take on the traditional patchouli. Yes, it's a patchouli fragrance, but here the patchouli is not the dirty one. It's not the one that smells like wet soil. It's not the dusty, earthy, animalic one. Nothing like that. This is actually sweet. You know, there are different types of patchouli. I think 80-90% of the patchouli we have in perfumery usually comes from Indonesia, which is the traditional dusty, earthy, wet soil type of patchouli that many people don't like. But there are also other species. And for instance, the patchouli that comes from China is sweeter, it's greener, it's more herbal, and it's cleaner. So, and I think the patchouli here is similar to the one I just described. It's cleaner, it's sweeter, it's a little bit more herbal, and slightly green as well. This perfume is also very creamy, like white chocolate creamy. It's very, very beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of Coromandel by Chanel Les Exclusives, which also has a chocolate note, but to me it's white chocolate, which is more buttery, creamier, sweeter, slightly waxy as well, and very, very addictive. 𝘿𝐻𝐸𝐴 also reminds me a lot of A Lovely Patchouli Night by Kriegler. So I think this is the closest one you can get to Lovely Patchouli Night. Lovely Patchouli Night costs like 3 times the price of this one, and this is not cheap. I think this is 250 or something like that. I bought it a while back, so I can't remember, but it's not an inexpensive fragrance. However, Kriegler is on another league. Price tags are completely different. And if you don't want to spend that amount of money, or you can, or you just can't see yourself spending $700 for a bottle of fragrance, I think it's the closest fragrance to Lovely Patchouli Night you can find on the market. It's very smooth, very, very creamy. It projects for about an hour and a half or two after spraying. The sillage is absolutely beautiful. It really lingers in the air. It's so, so gorgeous. I also pick a very subtle narcotic component. It's typical from white and some yellow flowers, mostly white flowers like tuberose, gardenia, orange blossom, you name it. But yeah, I do pick a very subtle narcotic component. Probably in the heart notes, we have white or yellow florals, very, very intoxicating. It's very refined, very elevated. It's super long lasting. It lasts around 8 to 10 hours, sometimes more. In the summer, it lasts about 10 to 12 hours, and during the winter, anywhere between 8 and 10. But anyway, it's very long lasting. I believe I shared this story with you when I reviewed this fragrance in one of my previous videos. I tried this fragrance in Paris and I sprayed in the morning, and like 10 hours later, I was in a coffee shop and I was asked what I was wearing, and the person said, I smell amazing. So yeah, it is very, very long lasting. That's something I can tell you. And I also remember when I tried this fragrance, it was just a couple drops on my wrist and tap tap, and that was it. So yeah, 8-10 hours later, at least 8 hours later, the fragrance was still there. So if you like to stand out, this fragrance is a must try. 𝘿𝐻𝐸𝐴 by L'Artisan Parfumeur. The next fragrance that will make you stand out is the Hedonist Extrait de Parfum by 𝑋'𝐀𝐻𝐿. I reviewed this fragrance before and I shared this story with you that I was invited to an event, and right before the speaker was about to start, he stopped on his tracks and he said, wait a minute, who is smelling this good here? I can't even focus. And I know for a fact it was my fragrance because after the event was over, we were chatting, and then he said, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you smell freaking good. This fragrance is absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a very, very unique, very different type of scent. It has ginger. The ginger here is more noticeable than in Gingembre Pétillant, the fragrance I reviewed at the beginning. This one here is more noticeable. However, this is the Extrait de Parfum. I also have the original, the Hedonist, where you get that ginger and this icy aspect. This fragrance has a very unique, icy, translucent, glassy type of scent that here is not as prominent as it is in the original. Gosh, this fragrance is something else. It's so different, so unique. I also have the original, the Hedonist, the Eau de Parfum. This is the 𝑋'𝐀'𝐫𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚, as I was saying. This is definitely longer lasting, and it also smells more feminine than the original, which is completely unisex, but this smells more feminine than the original. It has a lychee note that the original doesn't have. Oh, let me pause here. It's so good. So the opening is very bright, also very uplifting. Whenever you see ginger, you can expect, ginger is usually in the top notes, and whenever you see ginger, you can expect a very bright and very uplifting, very fresh, almost zesty type of scent. Very, very invigorating. And this one has bergamot. It also has grapefruit in the opening, ginger, of course. It's very bubbly, very sparkling. And this is the type of fragrance that when you sniff it, it reminds you of the winter. It has a very unique, what I call like a glossy, icy, or cool component that makes this fragrance truly, truly unique. And as I said, it reminds you of the winter. It's really, really gorgeous. It also smells very expensive, very elevated, very sophisticated. It's completely mass appealing. I got tons of compliments in that event, and every time I wear this perfume, both the original and this one gets me tons of compliments. It's bold, it's sexy, it's very unapologetic. Gosh, it's so, so good. Very long lasting. It lasts more than 10 hours on my skin, and you can fill up a room with only 2 spritzes. That's all you need, and you will fill up an entire room. This fragrance, it's very strong. However, despite its very strong presence, it's not an aggressive fragrance. It's actually very mass appealing, as I was saying before. It's not aggressive at all. It's not in your face. So, so stunning. It's a nighttime fragrance. Of course, you can wear it during the day. I think the original, it's more like a daytime fragrance. I used to wear it during the night, but after I got the 𝑋'Trait, I wear this during the night. I find the 𝑋'Trait more like the nighttime version of the original. It also has a lychee note that the Hedonist Eau de Parfum doesn't have. And I think it's what makes this fragrance a little bit more feminine and also more dewy, more watery. Absolutely stunning. This perfume is a keeper for life in my collection. Yes, super, super elegant, very modern. The Hedonist Extrait de Parfum by 𝑋'Nihil. So moving on, the next one on my list is Fantasia Veta by Bulgari, and it belongs to the Allegra line. The Allegra line is, again, the more elevated, the private blend, private line, the luxury line of the house. And oh my God, all of the fragrances from this Allegra line come with enhancers, and it's more like and it's some sort of mix and match. And they have different enhancers, of course. They have patchouli, they have vanilla, they have different enhancers, and with that, it's basically a layering option. But trust me, this one is so beautiful on its own. I don't think I will layer it with anything. I don't want to mess with this beautiful, beautiful DNA. And from this line, I know the one that gets all the love is Bachami, but honestly, I think it can compete with Fantasia Veta. But you have to like patchouli. When it comes to patchouli, I think this one and 𝑋'Trait are one of the most beautiful fragrances you can find out there. Gosh, it's so stunning. It's very feminine, very bright, very vibrant, very luxurious. And again, the patchouli here is similar to the one we find in 𝑋'Trait. It's not creamy or chocolatey. It's that type of clean, sweet patchouli instead of the typical dirty, dusty, wet soil type of thing. It's a very, very beautiful scent. And the most prominent notes here, aside from patchouli, are red peaches and vanilla. So red peaches are slightly tart. The most common ones are the yellow peaches. Then we have a sweeter species, which is the white peaches. In the red peaches, there are thousands of peach species out there, but these 3 are the most common we see in perfumery. And again, the white peaches are super juicy, very, very, very sweet, like the fragrance White Peaches by Shea and Blue. If you like peaches, that one is a must try. Then we have the yellow peaches, which are the most traditional ones. They are sweet, they are juicy, but not as sweet as the white peaches. Then we have red peaches, which is what we have here. Red peaches, they are juicy, but they are also slightly tart. Not extremely tart, not like rhubarb, for example, but they have a tartness I would say similar to raspberries. And I think the red peaches here have a key role to balance an otherwise very sweet fragrance. It could have been very sweet because the patchouli here is pretty sweet. And hadn't it been for the red peaches, it could have been cloying. Now, let me tell you, those red peaches balance the sweetness here to perfection. I love it. The patchouli here is very bright. Again, it's very, very fruity, and it's enhanced with those red peaches that provide tartness, but also sweetness and juiciness. Really good. Really, really good. Patchouli is a very common note in old school French perfumery. That's why many people think that patchouli smells vintage. And yes, definitely, there are many fragrances that are vintage and they have patchouli because, as I said, it's a very common note in French perfumery, especially old school. But that doesn't mean that all patchouli smell the same. And it doesn't mean that if you see patchouli in the formulation, you have to run away because you hate patchouli. Always give it a try, unless you don't want to, right? Unless you don't want to. But if you want to expand your nose, if you want to expand your knowledge, please try different things and don't be tied to the stigma that certain notes have. So this fragrance, it's an all year round type of scent. It's a perfume that truly commands attention. If you want to be the center of attention, I think out of all this that I have here today, this is number one. Number two, this is an attention grabber. Guys, this will make you turn heads left and right. So it's an all year round type of scent. During the summer, it smells sweeter and more fruity. While during the winter, like now, for example, it smells crispier, a little bit more crystalline, and a tad bit less sweet. This fragrance exudes feminine energy in every single drop. It's confidence in a bottle. It's very unapologetic. It's certainly not for the faint of heart. Let me tell you, if you want to command attention and if you want to turn heads, Fantasia Veta is a must try. The next one on my list, guys, is Luby Prince by Louboutin. So Luby Prince, this dark bottle, more burgundy. The other line, it's like a bright red. This is more like a deep burgundy. This line is their exclusive line. They're all extrait de parfum in Luby Prince. It's a stunner. It's a very resinous, woody, opulent scent. Very, very sensual. Oh God, it's so, so good. It has tonka and sandalwood. To me, those two are the most prominent notes here. So you can expect a sweet, woody, and very creamy type of scent. Here. Oh my God. The opening is very bright, very spicy, very woody, and also super duper rich. This is a very rich, very deep, and voluptuous type of scent. You can also pick a pink pepper note, which is pretty prominent in the opening. However, after a few minutes, let me tell you, once the fragrance starts to transition, that initial spiciness disappears, and you will get, as I said before, a creamier and very woody type of scent. Sweet. It's not sweet on a gourmand level, but it's still a sweet fragrance. Just the right amount of sweetness. The dry down is woody, but it's also earthy and very, very warm. It's a very strong perfume, perfect for nighttime and perfect for colder weather. I never wear this fragrance during the summer. Honestly, I think it's really way too much, even during the night. But I do wear this perfume during winter nights, and the colder the weather, the better. Actually, this fragrance flourishes when the weather is really cold, especially when it's dry. Definitely super duper opulent, very rich, red carpet level, you guys. This fragrance is red carpet level, and I kid you not. This perfume to me is 100% unisex, although it leans a little bit more feminine, but it is the unisex fragrance. Very unapologetic, as I was saying, very bold. It has a very strong presence. It lasts around 8 to 10 hours on my skin. So if you enjoy bold, creamy, resinous, and woody type of scents, then Luby Prince is a must try. And the last one on my list today, guys, is Orchidée de Minuit by Chloé, and it belongs to the Atelier des Fleurs line. Guys, this perfume is something else. It's very, very unique. It's a vanilla fragrance, but it's a completely different vanilla type of scent. The name of the fragrance comes from the white orchid, which once in its lifetime blooms during the night, attracting the pollinators that will help the vanilla pot grow. So this is where the fragrance takes the name from. and it's just so beautiful. It's so sensual, so sexy, so feminine. It's also boozy. It has a rum note. And what I find very unique in this perfume is that usually boozy notes tend to be more masculine, and we see a lot of boozy notes in men colognes, right? Or fragrances targeted toward men. However, the rum here doesn't affect the feminine DNA this fragrance has, but it gives that je ne sais quoi that comes from the rum. I'm gonna spray it directly on my skin. So gorgeous. It's so sultry, very creamy, spicy, velvety, boozy. But again, the booziness here is soft and it never touches the feminine DNA this fragrance has. Ultra feminine fragrance, very intoxicating, very addictive as well. I would describe this fragrance as a modern type of floral, but it does have a darkness, a very beautiful darkness, if it makes sense. It has a darkness to it that makes it extremely mysterious and very sexy. I just bought this fragrance during my trip to Hawaii. And let me tell you something. When I tried this fragrance, I didn't buy it immediately. So I sprayed the fragrance. I wanted to test it. I walk away. And on my way to the restaurant, I overheard people commenting. They were coming right behind me. They were commenting about this fragrance that they couldn't pinpoint what fragrance was it or where it was coming from. And they were right behind me. And after I tried it, I fell in love with this perfume. I came back the next day, I bought it, and I wore it almost every single night I was there. And I can't tell you how many compliments I got. And I remember another night I was in a restaurant right under a fan, and the fan was spreading the fragrance all over the place. And people also were commenting. They knew it was coming from me because they were sitting around me or beside me, complimented me on the fragrance. It really is that stunning. I also noticed that back there with high heat and high humidity, the fragrance lasts definitely longer and it was creamier and sweeter. Here, it's still sweet and creamy. Very beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I would still buy this fragrance even if I wouldn't have tried under high heat and high humidity. It truly is a beautiful fragrance. However, under colder weather conditions, it doesn't last that long. Maybe I get around 5 to 6 hours. And in summer or under high heat and high humidity, I got 8-9 hours of lasting power. But anyway, it has great lasting power, at least on my skin. It's a gorgeous perfume, 100% signature scent worthy. So a very sexy fragrance, super sophisticated, very unique. And if you like to stand out from the crowd, this perfume is a must try. Orchidée de Minuit by Chloe. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about fragrances that will make you stand out. Let me know in the comments below what is your go-to fragrance when you want to command attention. I'm really curious to hear about your experience. Please stay safe and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.